Hi everybody, this is part 4 of revision B of this flashlight CAD. And last video we left off with the completed model of the top portion of the flashlight. And so for this video we're going to start making the bottom portion. So if we go over here to the drawings, I'll show you the bottom portion. So you can see that they're quite similar, right? It's the same overall structure. The only differences here being is this rounded uh, this protruding extrusion, this revolve extrusion, sticks out, and then here the revolve extrusion is removing material instead. And so that's one key difference. Another key difference is there's this beam that's coming out of the flashlight, so it's just shooting out, and then here it's going to be a box cut out and a hole. So we have the revolve extrusion removing material. We have this beam that's protruding out. And then here also there's these holes that only go into the material 4.2 millimeters, as opposed to the holes on this one protruding out a bit. And so I told you last video that we're going to make different versions just to make it easier so we don't have to start anew or make a copy. And we can have everything contained in one file. And so there's two ways of doing this. You can do it here with versions in history. So this is OnShape's way of doing version control. So if you've ever used GitHub or GitLab, so just imagine that, but with CAD. And then there's also the configuration panel, which is over here all the way to the right. So if I click on that, you can do different configurations. But from my experience, doing configurations in OnShape, it's more trouble than it's worth. With in my experience, when I've used SolidWorks, they have this feature also where you can do configurations, and in SolidWorks it's very straightforward and it just works, and it's not a hassle. OnShape makes it a hassle, so I wouldn't use it. It's not productive, but this version works pretty well. Doing adding different versions, and so here it basically made this already. There is a start, and then there was a main. And so here we have our start main. So for the main, I can just go to my properties and just change it to top, and I can save that. And so now if I want to make my bottom, so if I go to start, there's something there. Usually the start doesn't have anything. So yeah, I'm just going to right click on my start and branch out and make a new one. So here I'm just going to call it my bottom. Create a new workspace, create. And so now we have those two versions. So now I'm staying within bottom. And now as I'm within bottom, I can have free reign. What I mean by that is I can do whatever I want now for this one, and changes here won't translate back. And so for example, hold command or control, click that, and click that, and let's say I delete them, right? Now I can go back to my top. It's all there. Yeah. Nothing's gone. So I go back, let's go my bottom. So let's just delete stuff we're not going to need. So here we have the circle. So I am going to keep sketch 5. So I'm going to delete that fillet we made. Sketch 6, extrusion 6, that fillet. and this Revolve. I'm just going to delete all that. So now we're working somewhere. So now I can go right here, sketch 5. So here I'm going to edit. So I'm going to click on that cue. We don't really want it present. So I'm going to start with the protrusion that sticks out in the center. So I would make a center rectangle and just give it a random dimension. Click escape. And let's go here and get these dimensions. So it has a width of 8 or a height of 8 and a width of 12. So 8, 12. And so let's dimension that real quick. 8. And then we're still using the dimension tool. And type in 12. That's not right. Okay, switched around. Might be. But it's a quick fix. So 12, double click 8. Okay, that's much better. And I'll leave the fillets towards the end because we can make it in one feature right here. Fillet is radius 4 and also radius 4. So that works out. And green check mark. So that would be fine. So here we have, what is it? It's sketch 5, right? Want a side view. So we don't really want it there. So I'm going to edit my sketch 5 by adding a new plane. So I want this dimension. So here it's 14 above top of the surface. So I'm making that plane. So this is our plane tool. Yep. And let's click on that. It's already facing the right way. So let's change it to 14. Press enter. Green check mark. So that should be fine. So let's move this all the way. Okay, edit. Okay, so that works now. And so here, sketch 5, I'm going to edit. Instead of that, we're going to do that. And green check mark. And where were we? Sketch 5, edit. And let's go to the top. All right, so we're all good there. Green check mark. And so we want that, protruding out like that. And so from here, I am going to do the extrude. My face is going to be sketch 5. I am going to flip the direction. Instead of blind, I'm going to go to up to next. And the reason why I do up to next is so it extrudes it in that rounded shape. And then green check mark. And we're all good there. And then I'm going to hide plane 3. I don't want to see that anymore. We'll fix these little errors that we got. We'll get to that. Honestly, fillet 6, I don't remember. I'll just delete it right off the bat. Sketch 9, that I do want to keep. Let's keep that there. Right, let's make these fillets. So here, I'm going to click on these multiple edges and just rotate around so we can see everything. And then I'm going to click that edge, Let's just change that to 4 right now. So it's working. And just keep clicking around. And we're all good. Green check mark. Alright, so it's coming together. That's what we want. Alright, let's do the Revolve. That's going to be removing material. So let's sketch 8. Let's edit it. So we only have to make a small edit here. So we go back to our drawing. Here in our drawing, I specified that the only dimension that you really have to worry about here is this 15.5 as compared to back in the top, it's 15. So the reason why it's slightly bigger just uh, because the printer, once we print this, let's say we made them both 15, so 15 here and 15 there. So theoretically, they should fit flush, right? But printers aren't going to be exact. Uh, no, whenever you're making something, you're never going to make it exact. So we make this component slightly bigger because we rather have this hole right here be slightly bigger than smaller, because if it's smaller, that means these flat sides won't fit flush. And so that's the only reason why we make it slightly bigger, just to account for the errors of the 3D printer. So if we're back here, just double click that, make 15.5. Press enter and green check mark. And then I'm just going to click it and then do extrude, so it's just that it knows what it's doing. Oh, actually, I clicked on the wrong thing. So sketch 8, and then do revolve, and do remove, and revolve axis is going to be that. I'm going to do just one direction. And you just type in 180. Make sure it's facing the right way. Looks like it is. Green check mark. All right, so we got that down. Okay, that is just being the sketch line. Suppose we can do the fillets also. So here it's filleted at 1.5, so same thing, made them slightly bigger so it could fit flush. So let's make those fillets there and there. Make it 1.5. And green check mark. All right, so the last thing we have to do is the holes. So sketch 9, I'm going to edit them. Go to top. So we want these holes to be at the same placement as it was in the previous or in the top, right? And the holes are slightly bigger, right? 3.3. So we can do that really quickly. Double click that 3.3, press enter, and that should be fine. And so what we're going to do now is just add dimensions so that this would work. We're going to add that slight dimension, and then press D and add this dimension. Click on that, and then press enter. So the reason why this is not working, so if I click on it, just see if a pop-up menu pops up. No, not really. Um, this is looking for an edge that was right here hovering, and it's gone. So since we deleted it, that edge doesn't exist anymore, and so it's just confused because it doesn't find it anymore. So for that, I'm just going to delete it. Same thing here. It's looking for an edge that was present right here on this line. And I'm just going to delete that also. Delete sketch entity. And I added these two dimensions just to make it fixed in place. And that should be fine. And then also we're going to do extrude. We're going to remove. And this is going to be a blind. And we're removing 4.2. 4.2. And let's make sure it's facing the right direction. Yes, it is. Green check mark. And that's it. That's our bottom. So let's go back to these versions. We got top, which is still working, still looks nice. And we got our bottom. And it's exactly what we wanted. So it's not too bad, right? So doing this version stuff makes it slightly easier. Hopefully you understood it. So what I did is click on start and create that new branch. And you can keep doing this infinitely. If you want to make multiple versions, top, bottom, you have something else similar that takes this shape, you don't want to delete these, make a new branch. And if you update your top, you can go to or stay at bottom. I can create a new version and it will essentially build on top of bottom. Or if I go to top and make a new version, it's going to just continue on this blue line. So like this, it would look like this. It'd be a solid dot. Well, this white dot would move ahead, and then this white dot would become blue, solid, like start. And that's it. And for the next video, we're going to make the last component. So the last component is the flashlight cap. This one's really simple relative to these, right? We finished this. This cap, we can get it done 5-10 minutes. And so yeah, I'll do that on the next video. Feel free to get started on it. It shouldn't be too difficult. If you guys have made sense of everything else so far, you should be able to make this. And yeah, I'll be back sometime soon making that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below. Again, there's a link to a drive folder that contains these drawings that I'm working with. And lastly, remember to have fun and take care.